Listen, you do not need the fancy setup. You don't need the 10K followers. You don't need to go viral. What you do need is clarity. You need a simple system, and you need the belief that you can start selling digital products. Let me tell you how. Let's talk about mindset. Did you know that selling is 80% mental and 20% strategy? This is how important it is to get your mind right when it comes to selling. Most people fail because they think, oh, I need a big following. I need to be aesthetically pleasing. I need the fancy website. I need my logo. None of that is true. People buy the transformation. People buy the shortcuts. They buy the solutions. You already have the skill. You have the story, the experience. You have them. You have the very thing that somebody else is praying for. When I made my first sale, it wasn't because I was the smartest or I had a fancy website or I had 10K followers. It was because I solved a very specific problem for a real person, and it worked. Now let's talk about what you're actually selling. A digital product is simply a shortcut. It is something that you sell online. It is also something that you know. So for example, an ebook could be guides, templates, ebooks, trainings, courses, audiobooks. The best digital products solve problems fast. So if you need help in identifying what to create, what digital product to create, ask yourself some questions. What do people come to you for? You are a solution already. So use that information to create a digital product. Another question to ask yourself is, what comes naturally to me? What comes easy to me but hard for someone else? Another question to ask yourself is, what results can I help someone get faster? Those are your digital product ideas. Most beginners complicate this part right here. Starting their digital product business with a 60 module course or a 49-page ebook. And I get it. You have a lot of information. You have a transformation in mind. But the thing is, the simpler the product, the faster it sells. So for example, try selling planners, try selling templates, mini guides, try selling mini trainings, a checklist, a guide, a mini workshop. Why? Because when you are able to create something that isn't going to take you several weeks or months to create, you're able to put the product out there. And they're easy for buyers to understand. When you have like a 60 module course, it can be overwhelming to the buyer that just needs this one specific solution solved. Even though that solution is in that course, they will look at that course like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to go through all that. I do not need all that. I don't have time for that. So I'm going to skip through that and find a simpler solution. Okay, so let's talk about the money. Let's talk about it. So the sweet spot to be in when selling your first digital product is between $7 and $37. Let me tell you why. Because it's an easy yes for your audience. Your audience sees the 7 to 37 price point and they're like, oh my gosh, well, yes, I need this. This is perfect. You gain the confidence when you see the sales rolling in. Therefore, you're building proof and you are getting sales. Period. You're getting sales. It's an easy sale. That's the price. I think I priced mine about, my first digital product was, I think $17-ish, $27. 7 is the lucky number. So anything with a 7 after, they're like, oh yeah, I have to get it. It's just what it is. Here's another thing to keep in mind. Once you start selling consistently, then you are able to raise your prices because you have the proof, because you're getting the reviews, and you know what they need for the next product that you plan on creating. This is how you're going to market your digital products without feeling salesy, because selling is not begging. We're no longer forcing or chasing for sales. Here's how to do it. First, you're going to create content around the product that solves the person, your audience's pain points. So for instance, if your product helps new mothers lose weight, your content should talk about challenges of motherhood and weight loss. Another topic would be about effective eating habits. Share simple step-by-step habits to instill when they're working, if they're working mothers. Include mom and baby workouts, include postpartum to dos and not to dos, and so forth. The next form of content that you want to talk about is the transformation, which is so important. You want to talk about the before and after. Talk about what life looks like with your product. Talk about what life looks like without your product. Another type of content to talk about would be to share the wins, big or small. Talk about how you overcame that specific situation, your transformation, your story, the lessons you've learned, the mistakes you've encountered along the way. Because at the end of the day, your story counts. That's the reason why they are interested in you in the beginning. Your story counts, your client's story counts. On top of that, out of all of this content, you must maintain consistency. Don't post one day and then expect results or higher metrics because of that one posting. Remember, people don't buy because you posted once. They buy because you posted long enough for you to be trusted. Here's the part that nobody tells beginners. You can sell daily without posting more. You don't need 50 new ideas. Use one message delivered multiple ways. That is marketing. You don't need 50 different ways. So how are you going to do this? You're going to repurpose the content that you already have. Repurposing mean, for example, if I wrote a blog post about a specific topic, that blog post, you can turn that into an Instagram post. Instagram post into threads content. That same topic, not another idea. That same topic. That's repurposing. From that threads content, you could then create a YouTube video. You can turn that specific topic into story posts, into automated emails, call to actions, and the list goes on. This is what they're not telling you because they don't want you to know for some reason. I'm telling you right now, start with repurposing your content before thinking about 50 other ideas. That will soften the marketing aspect, but you're still getting the work done. You're still effective in your marketing reach when it comes to reaching new people. But keep this in mind. People don't buy just because you post. They buy when they are ready. This is why it's so important to remain visible. Remain visible. There are so many marketing platforms out there that you can utilize, and you don't have to use paid ads. If sales are not coming in yet, it doesn't mean that your product is bad. Here are some of the issues that I've noticed that you may want to keep in mind. So for one, your audience may be unclear. Your offer may be unclear, your messaging may be unclear, your content may not be speaking to the pain points. This is where you fix your clarity first and then the sales start coming in. The clarity being, where are your audience? Who is your audience? What do they need? What are their pain points? You will literally find out everything about your ideal audience, your ideal customer, by clicking the link below for my business clarity guide. It's exactly why I created this guide, to help you stop guessing and start making money. Have the best digital product out there, but if you don't know how to sell it, you're just going to be collecting dust with no sales. Okay, here is how I tell my students to sell their digital product. Serve. Instead of selling, serve. And if you want in-depth detail about how to serve your audience so you can start attracting sales instead of you chasing and forcing and begging for your clients and customers, you already know what to do. So let me get into the video. This is what you're going to do. One of the things that you want to do when it comes to selling your digital product is to create content that solves a problem that your product is talking about. So for example, let's say you are starting a business to help new mothers lose weight. The content that you're going to talk about would be challenges in motherhood and weight loss. Another one can be mom and baby workouts. Another one can talk about tips on how to eat better, the types of food to eat. You can talk about the before and after, talk about client wins, your wins, if the product applies to you. If you are the single mother that lost weight and you transformed your experience into that digital product, there is so much you can talk about in order for you to market your product effectively. Not only that, another key thing is to post about it. Not one time. Remember, people don't buy because you posted it once. They buy because you showed up long enough for them to trust you. This is why consistency is so important.